Hi guys, hope you're all doing great. Are you interested in trying out meditation? Maybe you already have. However, you feel like you don't have enough time for it. You were overwhelmed by the vast amounts of different types of meditation and did not know which one to choose. You never really understood the benefits of meditation, or if they were even working for you. You felt like you were doing it all wrong. Or quite simply you concluded you just don't have the patience for meditation. I'm happy to say that this video can help you. Let's start off by saying that I am in no way, shape or form a meditation monk or guru, and that this is not a guided meditation video. What it is, however, is an attempt to simplify and summarize the information that is available regarding meditation in order to make it easier for you to digest. So I started dabbling with meditation about 18 years ago, and I have included it in my daily routine for the past 10 years without pretty much missing a day. Of course, there were exceptions, some rough mornings. However, as I get older, I tend to be invited to less events, so they're becoming more of a rarity. I do not go over my meditation history in order to brag or to insinuate that I have achieved some sort of goal. I only do so to highlight the fact of how I strongly believe in the transformative power of meditation. So join me in this video to go through some of the documented research regarding meditation and also some of the personal lessons I have learned. So, let's go. Chapter 1. What is meditation? It is important to clarify that meditation is a big umbrella term and that there are several different types, techniques, and styles of meditation. So, it can be pretty overwhelming to navigate the world of meditation. With some basic research, it seems that there are over 50 techniques or so. And I can definitely promise you that I have not tried them all. However, after giving them a bit of a browse, it seems like there is quite a large overlap between the different types of meditation. Luckily, all the meditation techniques can be summarized into 7 main categories. The categories are the following: mindfulness meditation, concentration meditation, loving kindness meditation or metta, transcendental meditation, movement-based meditation, visualization meditation, and body scan or awareness meditation. Feel free to pause this screen in order to read through a bit of a description on each category. Chapter 2. My personal journey with meditation. So as I insinuated earlier, over the years I have tried various forms of meditation, mainly starting out with apps on my phone or guided meditation videos that I came across on YouTube. However, I eventually landed on one form of meditation, which I have been implementing for the past 5 years or so on a daily basis. I came across this technique through Emily Fletcher's book called Stress Less, Accomplish More. And the technique is called the Ziva meditation technique, or Ziva technique. In a later chapter, we will delve into the Ziva technique a little bit further, but for now, let's cover the benefits of meditation. I have broken down this chapter into the 12 main benefits of meditation. Number 1, reduces stress and anxiety. Meditation helps downregulate the sympathetic nervous system, which is linked to the flight or fight response. Or is it fight or flight? Not sure. It also promotes the parasympathetic nervous system, which leads to calmness, slower heart rate, and overall relaxation. What is interesting that certain forms of meditation can release stored stress from the body, not just the daily acquired stress. Meditation helps us become less reactive and more resilient. It also lowers cortisol, which results in less brain fog, tension, or fatigue. Second benefit of meditation: it improves focus, attention, and productivity. It does this by increasing plasticity and activity in the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for the brain's decision-making and attention center. Regular meditation enhances sustained attention. So this allows us to return to a task after being distracted. It also helps us shift from multitasking to single-tasking focus, which increases efficiency overall. And finally, it clears mental clutter, which allows us to concentrate for longer with more clarity. Number 3, it enhances sleep quality and deep rest. It does this by basically making it easier for us to fall asleep and stay asleep. It can also reduce the amount of sleep that we require, because certain forms of meditation are actually more restful than deep sleep. And finally, it helps quiet the overactive mind before bedtime. Number 4, increases energy and reduces fatigue. Meditation increases mental and physical energy, especially when it is done in the afternoon. That is part of the Ziva technique that I will cover in the Ziva technique chapter. And while we're on the topic, the Ziva technique can also re-energize the nervous system along with the adrenal function. Number 5, boosts the immune system. So basically chronic stress impairs the immune system, and being meditation reduces stress, the immune system is going to function more optimally. Apparently many meditation practitioners report lesser illness and quicker recovery from illness. Number 6, improves brain and body health. It firstly strengthens neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to adapt and grow. It promotes a balanced hormone production, including dopamine and serotonin. This is an interesting one too. It can actually lower biological aging. And one way it does this is by lowering oxidative stress in the system. Number 7, builds emotional resilience. Meditation improves our awareness of internal states, which basically allows us to regulate our emotions a little bit better. A bit of a tongue twister here. Meditation boosts the anterior cingulate cortex and insula function. These are brain areas linked to self-awareness and emotional regulation. Number 8, elevates emotional intelligence. It does this by increasing empathy, self-awareness, and the ability to stay calm during conflict. It can help improve relationships due to reducing reactivity and boosting compassion. Number 9, creates long-term brain changes. Long-term meditation can change the baseline of your brain, or the trait level of your brain, which doesn't just result in a momentary calm, but also a lasting change on how your brain responds to stress and focus. It can also increase gray matter responsible for memory, empathy, and learning. Number 10, enhances performance. Meditation enhances task switching, mental clarity, and creativity. This is especially valuable for athletes, professionals, and creatives that need to perform under a bit of pressure. Apparently, meditation is used by CEOs to enter the flow state quicker. It helps them respond to high-pressure situations and not react. So basically, it can increase creativity, emotional control, and intuition when under stress. Number 11, supports manifestation and goal alignment. This will be covered further in the Ziva technique chapter, but it basically trains your brain to visualize outcomes and in turn makes space for certain possibilities. And finally, number 12, creates more time. So many people doubt whether they have the time to meditate, right? As we previously mentioned, meditation helps lower stress and increase efficiency. It's part of a whole array of other benefits. And basically, this can lead to accomplishing more in less time, in turn creating the feeling that we have more time throughout the day. Chapter 3. The benefits of meditation that I personally noticed. So firstly, I would like to say that meditation allowed me to be more self-aware, less reactive and more proactive, if you will. It also got me questioning certain thoughts that were recurring quite frequently. It got me questioning the origin of these thoughts, and it allowed me to eventually deal with them. The greatest benefit I noticed with meditation is the ability to step back from your own thoughts and kind of detach from them and see them as separate entities to yourself. And as you can imagine, this in turn gives me a greater feeling of control. Maybe a better way of saying this is it allows me to shift into the perspective of seeing my thoughts and emotions as things that are happening around me and not necessarily to me. Another way of putting it is your thoughts and emotions are similar to your heartbeat. You basically have no control over them. They're going to happen anyway. And this, I believe, is a great perspective or a great outlook to take when navigating life's challenges. I will put a few interesting quotes around this kind of message that I want to get through on screen now. Another important quote to help me explain my message here is this one. When a person has a reaction to something in their environment, there is a 90-second chemical process that happens in the body. After that, any remaining emotional response is just the person choosing to stay in that emotional loop. So to elaborate on this quote here by neuroscientist Dr. Jill Bolt-Taylor, if I'm pronouncing that right, she basically claims that emotions are chemical reactions in the body, which are hormonal and neurological, that should only last for 60 to 90 seconds. As we all know, this is not always the case, and the reason why emotions can last longer than 90 seconds is due to our own thoughts perpetuating or fueling them. So it creates this cycle, if you will. And to the point I was trying to get to, when utilizing meditation, you are able to see this process happening a little bit easier. It allows you to intervene and stop the process. Chapter 5, the Ziva technique. So in this chapter, I'm not going to give you a guided walkthrough of the Ziva technique itself, mainly because there is no chance in hell that I'm going to make it half as good as Emily Fletcher does in her book, Stress Less, Accomplish More. I will, however, describe the technique briefly, just in case you need a revision, want to see my perspective, or simply wish to know what to expect. So firstly, when should the Ziva meditation be done? Ideally, this meditation is done twice a day. One time in the morning, the best time for that is as close as possible to your waking time, and the second time in the late afternoon, perhaps after you finish your workday. Each session should last for around 15 minutes. It is good to have a stopwatch. I use one on my phone, and it is good to have one that doesn't lock the phone. The reason for the stopwatch is, as you are meditating, you can simply take a glance at the time in order to understand how much time you have left. The key here is we don't want any alarms to interrupt us in our meditation process. The reason for this is an alarm can potentially interrupt the meditative cycle and can kind of defeat the whole purpose. There are 4 main advantages of meditating in the morning. The first is optimal brainwave state. So when you are in deep sleep, your brainwave patterns are in that of delta. As you start to wake, they move into theta and alpha states. Now, theta and alpha states are associated with deep relaxation, creativity, increased suggestibility, and result in easier access to the subconscious mind. So that moves us to the second point, a more direct access to the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is more open to impression during the waking up process. Meditation in the morning allows you to bypass the critical and analytical mind, plant seeds of intention or clarity before your day begins, and also helps you reduce stress as it starts to accumulate. The third advantage for meditating in the morning is it lets you set the tone for the day. Morning meditation helps you shift from reactivity to intentionality. It primes your nervous system for being more resilient and less reactive to stress. This will result in you being less likely to be pulled into emotional turbulence or distractions throughout your day. And the final benefit of meditating in the morning is you have less interference. This means before your coworkers, your phone, your emails, or your social media are able to hijack your attention, your mind is clearer and less stimulated, allowing you to go into deeper meditative states. Okay, so the Ziva meditation is basically broken down into 3 stages: mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation. The mindfulness stage is basically a stage where you are attempting to achieve presence. So you do so by running through your senses, starting with your hearing, then moving to the feelings and your body in general, then moving to sight. Although your eyes are closed, you're still observing what your eyes are seeing. Then you move to taste and to smell. And then you try and incorporate all these senses at once, or the awareness of all these senses at once. This part should take 2 to maximum 5 minutes. By the way, this meditation can be done anywhere. So you do not need to be in some sort of lotus position, whatever that is. You can simply sit on an ordinary chair, resting your back. As long as your head is free to move, you're good to go. Moving on to the second part of the meditation, which is actually called the meditation. In this part, which is the longest part of the actual meditation session, it's roughly 10 minutes or so, you are basically repeating a mantra, which is a word or a couple of words of your choice. You repeat them in your head, of course, not aloud, and you're using these words to kind of attach your focus onto. You're going to get distracted. I mean, I get distracted all the time. Sometimes I won't even know that I'm distracted. But once you realize that you are distracted, you simply pull your awareness back to the mantra and keep on repeating it. Now, the point of this part of the meditation is to achieve that deep, restful state that we previously spoke about that is associated with meditation, especially the Ziva technique. In her book, Emily gives some really good examples of distractions that can occur. The way she describes these distractions, it's so realistic that it makes you understand that we all kind of go through similar challenges when it comes to meditating. Like I said, the meditation stage should take roughly 10 minutes. Moving on to the final stage of the Ziva technique, which is called manifestation. So at this stage, your subconscious mind should be more open to imposing your own impressions upon it. So here you can basically envision your ideal future, some goals you have achieved, etc., etc. I will include down in the description a guided walkthrough by Emily herself of the Ziva technique. And this will help you understand more what I mean by this, by the whole meditation process, basically. By the way, the manifestation portion of the meditation should take 1 to 3 minutes. And then once done, you simply open your eyes and get back to your normal life at your own pace. To conclude, as I probably harped on way too much in previous chapters, firstly, I highly recommend reading the book by Emily Fletcher called Stress Less, Accomplish More. Another approach to starting out with meditation could be utilizing guided walkthrough videos, which can be found in abundance on YouTube, or using apps on your phone. One app that I have used for several years is called Headspace. What I like about Headspace is that it adds gamification to meditation. What I mean here is you have several guided meditations that are categorized into particular goals. And each of the goals is broken down into different stages. What's great about this app is that it takes away the repetitive nature of hearing a guided meditation day after day. Guys, the most important part of the beginning of your meditation journey isn't what meditation style technique you go with. What is important is that you start to incorporate the routine, especially the morning meditation. That would be priority. So feel free to explore different techniques in order to find the technique that resonates with you the most at the life stage that you are at. And the priority here should only be to instill the habit of meditating. Down in the description, I will include some guided meditations, one, the Ziva technique, and I also want to include another one which I used for several years. It's by Vishen Lakhiani, and it's called the 6-phase meditation. It's quite a good one to try. And guys, if you have any questions on the topic of meditation, please leave them down in the comment box below. And if you are about to start your meditation journey, please let me know how you get on. I would love to hear from you. I wish you the best of luck on your meditation journey, and as always, onwards and upwards.